Hey, it's Hopes here, and it's time to swarm our way to victory with Shaman. This is a deck that I actually wanted to do for quite a long time, and I had actually forgotten the fact that Shaman got a bunch of support for Piranha Swarmer, thus allowing a deck like this to actually exist, while also printing the new totem, Anchored Totem, which actually has an incredibly small pool that you can actually generate off of Amalgam of the Depths. So most of the time you can actually just get a secondary copy of the totem, which is actually really cool. And thus between those two factors, I ended up having around a 60% win rate across 20 games that I actually played with this deck, which was much higher than I actually expected, as most people right now will not expect a deck like this, and it is a lot of fun to actually play around with. The basic idea of the deck is to swarm your opponent with a bunch of one-cost minions that can be buffed up with Anchored Totem, and these most likely are going to be Piranha Swarmer, where you're actually going to finish them off with some really big swarmers really quickly, and then also have a Bloodlust just in case you actually need a little bit of additional damage. For the Mulligan guide of the deck, the most important card to keep in your opening hand is Anchored Totem. If you have any type of one-drop card along with this card, you are in a super good position early game. Another really good card to keep in your opening hand is Schooling, which will allow you to generate 3 additional one-cost minions in your hand. And other cards that are really good to keep are things like Iron Deep Trog, Peasant, Ajaran Scroll, Piranha Swarmers themselves, or Sir Finley. All of these are really good turn 1 plays. Vicious Slither Spear is really good if you have some type of really cheap spell in your hand. Otherwise, it's probably the one drop that you want to keep the least in your hand. And with the Mulligan guide out of the way, let's look at some games. Hey, time for a game against Hunter. Ooh, having Schooling in the opening hand is really good. Having Bloodlust, though, is not something I want to see yet. Keeping the Farsight because it is additional draw. Brucon is probably the only worst thing that it could be other than the Bloodlust in the opening hand, but oh well. Okay, Peasant. We can play Peasant down, and Hunter shouldn't have a way to instantly deal with it. I mean, they could, depending on what type of Hunter deck they actually are. Oh, their questline. And that's kind of a shock. Okay, so they actually would have had a way to deal with this. This might actually be a bad matchup. Oh, Sir Finley's kind of cool here too. We have a lot of decisions we can make. We can put down the 2 1-drops and then use Schooling next turn. That's probably the safest bet. Let's see what we get from the hero power first, though. Hoping for something like... Demon Claws isn't bad. Not necessarily what I wanted. Probably should have done the Vicious Slither Spear first, but oh well. One downside of using Sir Finley in this deck is all the totems do count as 1-drops, so technically Anchor Totem is worse this way, but I think the ability to sometimes get the Warlock hero card or hero power is a lot better. There's a 0-cost Anchor Totem. That's pretty good. We can just go face here. The next turn we can drop 3 Swarmers and the Anchor Totem if we really feel like it, or even a Amalgam of the Depths and the Anchor Totem. Okay, they'll attack our minion. We might actually just... We could use our hero power. We really felt like it. Let's put down the Swarmers. And then let's put the Slither Spear down, kill their minion, and then we have a 5-2, a 4-2, and a 3-4, which is actually pretty good here. They might have a way to deal with the entire board, but that should still be fine. We do have enough cards in our hand. Hopefully they don't have an explosive trap. That would be a little bit frustrating. Okay, so they are going to kill at least one of our minions here. They might be able to kill 2. Wow, Bloodseeker. I did not expect that out of Questline Hunter. Trog is actually kind of funny. We can use the Amalgam to see what we can get, grabbing the Anchor Totem. There's a few cases where one of the other totems would be better, but honestly speaking, most of the time, a secondary Anchor Totem is actually just way better. It also does put all of our minions out of lethal range from their spells if they don't kill this first Anchor Totem. Okay, so they do kill the totem, killing the Slither Sphere, which to them might be a really good idea, but it's actually kind of a mistake. I'd rather have the Murloc alive than it. I'm going to put down the Trog. Hopefully that will put it out of range. Put down a secondary Trog just to try to make sure they can't kill everything here. And trying to make the decision of either putting down the Swarmer or just keeping it in our hand. Gonna go face, then pass the turn back. Probably should have actually put down the Swarmer, but oh well. You live and you learn. They're probably thinking what they can actually do here. If they don't kill all of our minions, we should be able to win pretty quickly. They are at 10 HP. We do have the Brucon just to finish them off if they do kill all of our minions off. Right now we have 13 damage on board. Okay, they finished their questline reward, that's fine. They're going to kill off the totem, which is a little bit annoying. They can kill off one of our other minions, but we technically only need... How much damage do we need? Okay, so... Rock Biter Weapon's kind of funny. Schooling could be good. Let's just go face. This should be... what? 2 damage left over, and then next turn we have 8 mana, and we should just be able to fireball them in the face with our hero card. Good thing Hunter doesn't actually have any ways to heal themselves up. I mean, if they were playing Reno, they could have probably come back from this, but who would be the madman that actually plays Reno in a Hunter deck, right? Okay, time for a game against Druid. Probably going to be the Prestar Druid that's been floating around. A lot of people are actually playing. Going to get rid of School Teacher. Doesn't actually do us anything here. The Peasant and the Iron Deep Trogs are kind of funny. I don't know which one I'd rather put down here. Okay, they are Renathal Druid, which means they're probably Prestar. We're going to put down the Peasant just because there's less likelihood of us not getting a additional draw off of this. Oh, of course they had that. But they chose the turtle? Okay. Well, we can see what we generate here. Grabbing Don't Stand in the Fire. And then we're going to freeze the minion and then pass the turn back. Hopefully they just go face or play down a bunch of minions. We're not going to be able to get a second draw off of this. That's fine. A second windshield. Okay. I'm going to put down a Trog. Get another scroll. Going for Frostbite. I know they don't have too many spells in their deck, but in theory that could delay their Prestar turn. Bar Watchpost is really annoying to actually deal with, but we do have the Frostbite, so we won't have to deal with it for too long. Let's just do that. Down the second Trog, pass the turn back again. Hey, that seems like a waste of that card. Unless they really did brick pretty hard. Well, we can put down a School Teacher, see what we get. I think the scroll technically in the long run would be the best play there, but I'd rather just get rid of the minion and then go face and have 4 Trogs on the board. Because if we can top deck a Bloodlust, we're in a super good position. Okay, so we still have all these Trogs. Let's see what we generate here. Lightning Storm for later is probably better. Going to kill one of our Trogs to kill their minion since it's free. Then pass the turn back after we attack it. Okay, there's their press store. They're going to put down a diver. Schooling. Well, we can fill up our hand. We can also use Don't Stand in the Fire just to get rid of their one minion. And then use Schooling here because why not? Just so we have a backup plan if all the Trogs die. But they're actually going to use Deathwing. That's perfectly fine. We can just refill. They only get to draw 2 cards, and us drawing into the totem is great. Let's grab a secondary copy of the totem just in case. Then put down another Swarmer, hopefully. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, let's put it down. Now that is a little bit frustrating. We do still have ways to generate additional copies though, so we're not in a bad position per se. They are going to kill the totem sadly though. They're going to draw their highest cost card, which is probably Guff. Interesting. Let's put down the totem first, then summon a Swarmer like this. It's a 3-2. AoE everything here as well. And then attack into that and summon a totem and then summon the spear. Hopefully they won't be able to deal with this, but you never know. They could always have a secondary Deathwing, which would be a little bit frustrating. They just have Guff though, which is fine. Well, Guff and 5 mana. Okay, aquatic form. Innovate into something. What costs? They're just searching through their deck. Okay. Amber Watcher doesn't really do much. It does heal them a little bit. Now, that is a little bit annoying, especially because we already used the Nogaline with the Lightning Storm on it. I'm assuming that... Yep. Okay. Well, there's Amalgam. We can actually... Oh. Probably should have used the Amalgam on the totem. Can't believe I didn't actually use it on the totem. Let's see what we draw here. Okay, Brucon's actually not a bad top deck. Just because it allows us to kill one minion and then pass the turn back. Not worried about killing anything else. And we could kill the Amber Watcher just to be safe and put up another totem. Okay, a Watcher or Explorer, sorry. I'm assuming they're probably going to kill some of our minions here. Would be probably smart to kill the Swarmer if I was them, but I'm not, so you never know. Going for the Slither Sphere. For some reason, everyone always goes for that, and why do they have so many Watchers? And a Deathwing, again, which is frustrating, but it does empty out their hand, I guess. And Caligos is even more annoying. Okay, we still need to wipe their board. Oh, we have the Brucon. Okay, let's use Brucon, and sadly Sir Finley after this will be dead on our hand, but that's fine. Let's just do 2 damage to their entire board. They don't have anything in their hand, and then do 6 damage to their face, and then pass the turn back. And then actually use our hero power too. As long as they don't draw into a Kazakus, we should be fine. Or Kazakazan. Farsight's interesting. Doesn't do much here. Draws us into Peasant. That's actually not bad. They don't have a way to deal with it. We'll just go face. And then heal ourselves a little bit here. Just need something really good as a top deck. I don't know what we need per se, but we need something. That's like the 5th Watcher that we've had. Okay, a Poacher and a Anchored Totem. Okay. We can put down local R, go face, kill their 4-2, and kill their 3-6, and then pass the turn back. And hopefully they don't have a way to actually get to local R, because that means we have a ton of damage on board. Oh, that's a little bit frustrating. But they don't have any spells, and there's our Bloodlust. And a Swarmer. Okay. Probably should have put down the Swarmer first. My bad there. Going to still win the game, though. Okay, time for a game against Mage. Brucon, I don't want to see this early. The other two are fine, in theory. Piranha Poacher is probably better than the Amalgam, since we don't have a totem in our hand. Okay, let's see what we actually get. A Piranha Swarmer and a Iron Deep Trog. Iron Deep Trog could be really good if this is a spell-based mage deck, and for some reason Brucon is stuck to my hand, it seems. We're just gonna pass the turn back. Okay, so they aren't a minion-based mage deck. We're gonna see what hero power we can get here. Steady Shot's technically the best. Reinforce could be useful because it is a 1-drop for our totem, but I'm just gonna go with Steady Shot. 2 free damage per turn is 2 free damage, you know? Okay, Peasant doesn't do anything here. We can put down the Poacher. Hopefully they'll try to kill the Poacher. And then we can just go face. Okay, we're just going to put down a Swarmer. We can put down a secondary Swarmer just for shits and giggles too. And then just pass the turn back. We're going to try to swarm the board because it is mech mage, which means they don't really necessarily run any AoE board clears unless they're running Renathal like I did. Okay, so they're going to generate a bunch of more mechs here. That's perfectly fine. We have a Swarmer in our hand. Plus 2 on board. Wind Chill is a perfect top deck too. Let's see what we can actually get. Freeze the minion with the most HP. School Teacher is actually pretty decent. We could see what we get off of the Amalgam, but I'd actually rather do it like this. There's another Swarmer for our hand. Oh, that's going to be annoying to deal with. Hopefully they don't hit all of our Swarmers, but I have a feeling all of our Swarmers are probably dead, and they are. Okay, so we need to get rid of the Mech Shark for sure. Let's see what we get off of School Teacher. Tidal Surge actually does it, I guess. I'm gonna kill the shark. And then probably just go face here. Because if we go face, they have to be the ones that actually kill the Poacher. And as long as they don't kill the Poacher, we keep generating more fish. And then the more fish we get, the higher chance we have to actually just winning the game. And we do have Brucon in 2 turns. So if we survive that long, we should be able to deal with everything here. Security is something that I need to deal with instantly too. The nice thing about keeping their bolt full is we don't actually have to worry about them playing too many minions. They are going to kill the Poacher. He did live quite a long time, so kind of sad to see him go, but it's to be expected. Let's see what we get off of the scroll probably here. Well, the Geyser is probably the only safe bet here. Can use it to kill a minion on board, or we could just do 2 damage to security, then put the Sunken Scroll at the top of the deck. And that does put everything here in range of being killed by Brucon next turn. We're going to use our hero power and then pass the turn back. Probably should have actually put down one of the Swarmers just to get the Divine Shield away. Okay, just keep playing more non-mech minions. That's what we like to see here. Especially if they have 2 or less HP and no Divine Shield. Okay, let's use Brucon. Do the 6 damage to their face, and then do 2 damage to their entire board. Then hopefully they don't have anything to kill us in this turn. We might have actually wanted to heal instead. It is what it is. Okay, so we can see what we generate here. Oh, we're going to probably generate lethal, or close to it. Let's put up our hero power, kill their mothership before it actually becomes a problem. See what we get off of this. Radiance is actually probably the best thing, and then pass the turn back. And it turns into the fire hero power, which means we win next turn no matter what. Unless they have an evoker. Alright, now that we're 3 games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck overall. Overall, this deck was a really pleasant surprise on how consistent it actually was. Turns out the fact that Anchor Totem is one of like 2 totems that you can actually generate off of Amalgam of the Depths makes it really easy to get additional copies, which makes this deck a lot more powerful than you might actually think. And with the amount of draw power that you can actually run in this deck, it actually has a way to consistently refill its hand, which other decks might not be able to keep up with. Overall, this is an easy deck for me to recommend because there are really only 2 legendaries within the entire deck, which is Brucon, which is very common for any Shaman deck, and Sir Finley, which is a core card and everyone has access to. Though, if I was going to include another high-cost card within the deck, it would have been Glug the Gulper, but I didn't know what I would replace because I really did like having the Farsight as an additional way to draw through the deck. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye-bye.